Well, hi, how are you? Come on in. This is great timing. I've just put on a pot of tea. Take us... What is that under your arm? Here, give me a look. Don't resist, don't squeeze. Ah, Kylie's debut album on CD. Very, very nice. Well, you can certainly come on in now. Yeah, I remember this. But mine was on cassette. Yeah, look at this. It's pretty nice on CD, isn't it? Yeah, I got mine on cassette. And can you believe it's been 37 years since this was released? Yeah, we've got some fans coming up really soon who are going to share their stories about their first Kylie album. Well, here's my new track of the week. It's called Smooth Connection, and it's just a real chill vibe by an artist called Betterment. I have no idea who he is, so that's going to be my weekend, diving into his back catalogue, so to speak, and learning a little bit more. Where's he from? What's he do? Is he famous? Probably is, because I haven't heard of him, so that probably means he's been around for years and is the most famous person on the planet, but I've never heard of him. Now tell me, did you hear that Spotify recently did a purge, destroying billions of streams that were actually generated artificially? And as you know, Spotify measures streams and they want the measurement to be based on human listens, not fraudulent bots. So what's happened during this recent purge? Well, here's the thing, a ton of K-pop bands, including BTS and Blackpink, who I think Blackpink, didn't they do the Gaga collab back in the day? Anyway, they had millions of streams removed from their official record. And there were also millions and millions and millions of other streams also just eliminated all over the world, especially in Africa, apparently. So I think this is pretty awesome. We definitely want an accurate picture of how many listeners our favourite artists actually have. But have you ever wondered, like I have, about how much the stars get paid by Spotify? Just Spotify alone? Because you're often hearing it's a complete rip-off, apparently. So I've done a bit of a research into this, and yes, you're going to have to put up with some of my own Tim mathematics. It seems pathetic at first, but just bear with me. For each stream, I've learnt that the artist receives 0.004 cents. That's shocking, isn't it? Like, honestly, not even 1 cent per stream. 0.004. And then for bigger artists, they have to divide that again with their label, depending on what type of contractual deal that they've made. So for an artist like Gaga or Kylie, you can usually deduct about 25% of whatever they get from Spotify for costs. That's management costs, label costs, whatever. So here's my mathematics. Tell me where I've gone wrong, because I surely have. But if Kylie is getting around 14 million streams a month, well, you times that by the figure I gave you before, the 0.004. No, you times it. You times it, and then that adds up to about $56,000 in earnings a month. But then she has to give 25% of that away, depending on what that private arrangement is that she's made, that we don't know. But usually it's apparently around that. And so therefore that would leave her with $42,000 a month. And I was a bit shocked at first. Doesn't seem like much, until I thought, well, hang on a second. For you and me, yeah, you, take another sip of that tea, by the way. For you and me, wow, that is $504,000 a year just from Spotify. So I guess it's all a matter of perspective, really. I applied the same calculations to Gaga, who gets, wait for it, 114 million monthly listeners. 114 million. And no, they're not bots, because after the purge, Spotify confirmed that Gaga's figure didn't change at all. So they're genuine listeners. So if I apply the same calculations to Gaga based on her 114 million monthly listeners, she'd get about $5.4 million per month. And of course, that's before she has to give her label and management their fee. Wow. It just made me think, no wonder there's an incentive to buck the system, isn't there? If I was on Spotify, well, I suppose the show's on Spotify, but if I was an artist on Spotify, I would absolutely consider using bots to artificially inflate my streams. And look, finally, this is exciting. The Devil Wears Prada 2 is officially in production. I wonder how Miranda Priestley is going to be styled for this one. We know the boyfriend, I think his name was Nate, he will not be returning. And he was the true villain of the first film, wasn't he? You missed my birthday because you're working so hard and you're succeeding. Stupid little pig. But we do know that all the goodies are back. So the characters of Emily, Andy, Nigel, they're all back. And apparently in this film, Miranda is navigating the decline of magazine influence in the world of fashion, which is pretty... I think that's great. I mean, because it's such a true thing, isn't it? How do all these great media bastions of the past, how do they adapt and keep up? And can they even? It's always scary, though, with sequels, isn't it? You crave them, and I have craved this particular sequel for the longest time because you just want more. You want to be in that world for longer and more deeply. But you also pray with a sequel that it won't be an embarrassing second-rate production. But I, for one, am so excited about this. I've seen that film so many times. And in particular, do you know that scene where she comes in and Miranda just fires instructions at this new Andy, and she has no idea what Miranda's talking about? But there's a particular line, and I still to this day have zilch idea what it means. She has the line, I know what the line is, but I just don't know what it means. She goes, and I want to see a few of those satchels that Mark is doing in the pony. No idea. What the hell does that mean? But we've all been there, haven't we? When you're in a high-pressure situation and someone important is talking at you and you know you're going to have to follow up with something and you have no idea what they're talking about. We've all been there. So such a relatable scene, even if I don't know what Miranda was talking about. Now, help yourself to that teapot, by the way. There's plenty left in there and it's on a slow heat, so it will still be warm. We've got a few great conversations coming up today. Remember when Madam Roastbeef and Sean went at it in what was described by one of our listeners as the gayest debate that they had ever heard? If you didn't hear it, go into the show notes and click on the link. I've hyperlinked it in there. Well, Sean and Madam have reunited here today. You're going to find out what they were talking about. Don't go anywhere. It's coming up really soon. But first, we're going to chat with the lovely, lovely Gerald. Such a nice man. G'day, Gerald. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
It's lovely to meet you. Am I pronouncing your name right?
Perfectly right.
Very good. You're on here because Kylie has wowed Paris. Gerald, you were at one of the shows. Before we talk about that, it's fair to say Kylie Minogue has a very special relationship with France, doesn't she?
Oh, yes, absolutely. I think, well, first, I think she had one boyfriend, a French boyfriend at one time.
Well, she had Olivier Martinez.
Indeed.
He was
an actor.
Yeah, he looked after her when she was diagnosed, and then she had a very significant relationship. And I'm dying. You might be able to help me with this. I'm dying to know how you pronounce his last name. I never have known. But that was Stefan.
I think it's Martinez. No. Or which
Martinez.
One? Yes, Stefan Sednaoui. Right. The photographer.
Is it? Is that how you say it? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, Stefan was with Kylie for a number of years, actually in the mid-90s. And if you look at the front cover of Impossible Princess and probably all the singles around that time, he
that's his work.
Produced those photos.
Indeed.
Absolutely.
Indeed.
Absolutely. But she loves France, doesn't she?
Yeah, and she also she was in one movie from a very well-known French director, Léos Carax. So it was in Holy Motors, and she had one scene when she was singing in at that time a not renewed La Samaritaine, which is a big store in France, in Paris now. It's a kind of luxury kind of store, and
Okay.
she was singing a song, I think, that was written by Neil Hannon from Divine Comedy.
Right. Okay. Yes. Yes.
So indeed, I think she has really. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Bad connection. You go.
Okay, and also I think thanks to her different relationship with France, she speaks good French. Actually, she did speak during the concert a few moments in French. I mean, seems to be a bit shy about it, but I think she's quite good to. She probably have a very good knowledge of French also.
Gerald, when you hear Kylie speak in French, and she often does either on stage or in interviews, and like you say, she does it in a very shy way, but I saw her on quite a few French shows, French talk shows over the years, and she can speak in full sentences and paragraphs. So I have to ask, from somebody who is French, is it easy to tell that it's an English person who's learnt French, or is she very fluent?
I wouldn't say she's fluent. I mean, you notice she has an accent, but she seems to have a very good knowledge of French, and she can certainly handle a conversation with a French person with no problem, I believe. So no, I mean, her accent is very cute in French.
It's very cute, is it? Okay. That's interesting because, I mean, I just wouldn't pick the lack of accent, French accent, but to your ear, you would. She also did a French version of Confide in Me as well.
Yeah,
she recorded it. Yeah, yeah. How was that to the French ear?
But it's one of my favorite songs, so that's perfectly fine.
And not to labour it too much, but I think it's really important that we talk about Kylie and France, because I think people underestimate the relationship there. When I was very young and she moved over to England, there was much made about, oh, she's moved to England, she's not Australian anymore. But actually, she spent maybe even more time at one point in her early 20s at a home she bought in France. She started talking about how special that connection was with France. She wanted to recover from cancer in France. I think it was her family that talked her into getting treatment in Melbourne, but as soon as she could get back, over she was back to France. She started the X tour in France. So, what do you think? As a French person yourself, is she almost like one of your adopted pop stars, or does it feel like a foreign pop star visiting? What's the relationship? Help us understand.
She's very popular. I mean, people really like her. But I wouldn't say that she is super huge compared to other pop stars in American pop stars, for instance, in France. But she's quite big. But I mean, she could have one sold out night in the Accor Arena, which is one of the biggest arena in Paris. So it's already something. It's true that she has a lot of fans, but she might be a bit less popular than some others. Still, I would say that
is
for
she a
people
household
around,
name?
Sorry.
If I walk down the street in the centre of Paris and showed a picture of Kylie Minogue and asked people, "Do you know who this is?" Would people,
of course,
recognize
people
her?
would know, but maybe less the younger generation. Even though she had this huge hit with Padam, maybe she's a bit less known by the people in the 20s or even 30s. And you could say that at the concert, it was more people like in their 40s or 50s, which is quite normal because she was very huge in the 80s and 90s. I mean, that's when she had the biggest hits also in France. So that's pretty yeah, pretty normal, I would say. People know that, for instance, she did this video with Michel Gondry, which is a very famous French director. The one which is, I think it's Come Into My World, where
Yes, yes.
she's duplicating herself in Paris at a crossroad.
Mm.
That was very well known, and she's quite known for the, I would say, a lot of people from that period, that was very that got a lot of attention at that moment.
The fans will be yelling at their radios right now if I don't mention Finer Feelings, which was filmed in Paris, obviously. A fantastic video, beautiful video. And can you help me? Are you willing to hear me butcher the pronunciation of a very high level award she got over there? Are you willing
Of
to put
course, we
up with
can.
my bad pronunciation? Oh dear,
Go
this is
ahead.
going to be bad because I know zero French. So it's Chevalier of the Ordre des Arts et des Lettres.
Yeah, Chevalier de l'Ordre des Arts et des Lettres.
What does it
So it's
mean?
Knight of the Arts and Letters, or Literatures.
Knight of the Arts and Letters.
Yeah, so it's something that is given
Mm.
by the Ministry of Culture in France. So it's like really something that you give to people who achieve something in arts, I would say. So yeah, it's really something that acknowledge that you are a very important person in art.
Mm. Wow. Well, thank you for helping us sort of just revisit Kylie's relationship with France. I've noticed it for the longest time. She's a good ambassador for your country, I have to say, Gerald, because I went to France because of Kylie. Strangely, I wanted to go wherever she filmed Finer Feelings. I thought I'm going to pop over there. I was in the UK at the time, and I thought France. I mean, France would probably have been on my list anyway because it's such a beautiful country, but yeah, it was specifically Kylie's. Like my only knowledge of France was actually probably through Kylie's talks in interviews about it. So amazing, and it sounds like you are one of her bigger fans in France too. Would that be fair to say? How long have you followed Kylie for?
I wouldn't say that I'm one of the biggest fans of Kylie, even if I like her
Okay.
very much. Of course, I know her from the 80s. I would say that I really, I mean, the first period was to me something that was fun to listen to at the radio or watching videos, but I was not really into it. I think for me, it really was with spinning around that I really started to enjoy your work more. Um, and I'm a huge fan of also the when she had like Confine in Me, and then the Fever
Mm.
album, and Body Language. I really enjoy when she did some like minimal electronica. I think it's always it was extremely good and very innovative at that time. And I mean, yeah, she's really she's adorable. I mean, she's so she seems to be such a nice person. It's really hard not to like her at one point, I would say. If you like her songs, and so since then I always listen to her work, and I like the albums I mean, more or less depending on the time, but it's always very nice to hear new material from Kylie.
It certainly sounds like you. I'm getting a flavour that you like the sort of the electronica style of pop, and so that makes sense about those periods that you talked about with Kylie. So let's go to the Kylie Tension tour. You went to the Paris show or Antwerp?
Paris, Paris. I mean, we have a heat wave at the moment, so it was really boiling, a boiling night in Paris, super hot. I mean, of course, there was the air conditioning into the arena, but still, you can feel the heat and the heat of the whole day. So it was kind of electric, from
Hot
the
and
very
sweaty, as they say,
exactly,
right? Hot
and
and sweaty.
very
Yeah.
since the very beginning, it was really, yeah, really intense, I would say.
Did she seem to be suffering from the heat on stage? Did she talk about it? Did she look a little bit more sweaty than usual? How did she cope with the heat?
I think, I mean, and you can maybe you've seen that on my Instagram. There's I put a video where she addressed the audience, and she said, "Well, maybe it was not the night to go full latex." From the first segment, this the purple dress she has, and
Wow.
she was really, you can tell that it was like very very warm.
I'm so glad you mentioned this because I have been covering the Tension Tour since it started, talking to people in every city. And I've never wanted to ask it because it seems crass, but now you've given me the opportunity. How does Kylie get in and out of it? Does it take baby powder? Does she have to lubricate herself in oil? How does she get in and out of it so quick? It's crazy.
I don't know, but that's crazy.
I have a feeling that she just goes like a starfish and there's one person on each arm, one person on each leg, and they just pull. I reckon Kylie's been
Probably,
stretched in the wings.
probably, but it must be quite uncomfortable that moment for her.
Do you reckon they all gather around, they grab an arm, leg, and they all go 3, 2, 1, and they all go. Oh, it must be terrible. I don't know. So yeah, she actually says, according to you, in Paris, she says, "Oh, this wasn't the night to wear latex."
Yeah,
And the reason I'm going on about this is because it's not just hot in Europe at the moment. It's a full blown heat wave, right?
indeed, indeed, it's really, I mean, it's getting a bit better, but it's yeah, it's quite strong at the moment.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and the lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
Okay, now in Paris, I've been told that she took fan requests as she always does,
Yeah,
and that she sang "I Need You Tonight" by In Excess,
indeed.
which she's covered
Yeah,
before on the. Yeah. How was that?
that was really, I mean, that was quite surprising to me, and very nice that she did it. Yeah, and she did it very well. I mean, it was like a cappella, and
I
really
can't imagine
very.
that song a cappella.
But
I'm going to have to go
that
back
was
and watch
really
it
nice. I
because,
mean, there's probably
yeah,
some videos around, and you should check.
yeah, I
But that
will.
was, yeah, really nice. I mean, she did really a short bit of it, but it was quite
And Turn It
nice.
Into Love.
Yeah, indeed.
Oh, it's amazing. And somebody also told me, wow, did you get three special
Yeah,
requests in
yeah,
Paris?
exactly, exactly. And
Mm.
wow, I think it was with the guitar player.
What was it like for you when she first came on stage? And can you take us through your experience of watching the Tension Tour and most importantly, what you thought of it?
Well, I think when the lights went dark in the arena, and then the kind of laser show started, everybody stand up because it was like
Mm.
I guess it's the same in everywhere, but it's seated. Even the golden seats and the things, everything is seated. But yeah, since the first seconds of the start of the concert, everybody was up, and I think nobody's seated ever again until the end of the show. So that was really, really nice,
Fantastic.
and people were really excited about it. And then, of course, she did her entrance, going up in the air, and with the diamond, the laser diamond figure, and I think people went really crazy. Um,
Mm.
and and I think it was really, I mean, the experience I had is that it was from minute one, pure joy and pleasure, and seeing her very happy to be on stage, very communicative with the audience.
Yep.
She spoke a lot in between songs, and yes, it was really pure joy from the start till the end. There's not a moment where you feel like, oh, it's going down. I mean, the tension was from A to Z, and everything was beautifully managed and very nicely done. I had the it was the second time for me to see her on stage, and I didn't get that impression from the previous concert she did in Paris. That was for the Golden Tour, I guess. I don't know if it was Golden, the name of the tour, but
Yep.
around that
Yep.
album. And I found at that time that the sound and the musical direction was not necessarily what I preferred, or I didn't feel it like very good at that time. And here I had not that same
Okay.
impression. I mean, it was really good from the beginning till the end. I have no not a little criticism to make about it.
Wow.
So that also was really nice. I think she has really good musicians with her, and also the backup singers are really good, and there's a kind of chemistry between the group that is really that you can feel on the when they're on stage. Of course, it sounds a bit like also a kind of greatest hits, because there's nearly everything in there that is really the songs that really people love. I mean,
Yep.
maybe I just missed a bit. I believe in you. This is one of my favorite, and she's not doing it. So maybe if I want to be very very picky, the disco part of the show was a bit too small for me, because I mean she didn't get the the possibility of touring with this album because of the pandemic, and even she said
Yeah.
about it. And but I think that that album would have deserved a little bit more exposure, because it was the first time she did it on stage. Go ahead.
Gerald, when you left the arena, how were you feeling?
Ah, full of joy. I mean, you just
Yeah.
had like 2 hours of pure fun and joy. So it's very difficult to feel grumpy after that.
Yeah.
So
I love that, Gerald. Joy. That's the aim of Kylie, and that's sort of the aim of her career in a way, isn't it? Just she's so light and joyous. What do you make of her as a performer? I mean that's probably quite a strange and odd question, but she's a tiny little thing. She's often been sort of dismissed as more of a pop act than a musician. After watching the Tension Tour and knowing Kylie as you do, how do you rate her as a musician?
but I would say first that she's a very good singer. And
Mm,
she does sing live, which for this kind of concert sometimes is a bit of a surprise, I would say.
mm.
So, I mean, of course, you can see that she has backup singers, and she's not. At some point, she's singing a bit less, maybe that you would hear on records. But this is what really strike me, is that she can really dance and sing and do the show. I mean, it's all on her for 2 hours. That's quite intense, and yeah, it's quite a performance. She's really a very great performer.
Gerald, I've got to say, it has been a pleasure talking to you. I get a lovely energy about you for some reason. You must be a really lovely person. Can I ask one small favor before you go? And that
Of
is,
course.
can you give me your final summary of the Tension Tour, just 30 seconds, and give it to me in French? Now, I won't understand a word, but I will listen back and I'll find out what you said later. So you're going to leave me with a bit of a mystery. What did you make of the Tension show? Would you recommend it to others? What are your final thoughts in French?
Ok. Alors en français. Eh bien, je vais dire que le Tension Tour, c'était vraiment une pure joie, avec tellement de moments chaleureux de la part de Kylie, et c'était vraiment intense en termes de sentiments et d'envie de danser et de partager avec elle ces moments. Donc ça, c'était vraiment un moment assez parfait, et je retiens d'elle qu'elle semble être vraiment une personne extrêmement sympathique et absolument adorable.
Wow. I think, and I will work it out later, but I think you just said that before Kylie went on stage, she went to a buffet, ate too much, and almost didn't fit into her latex suit.
Exactly, that's exactly what I said.
Yes, I thought I heard that. I was following. I'm pretty good. I might not know your language, but I can work it out. Gerald, you're a lovely person. Thank you so much for talking to me.
Thank you. And that was really nice.
Hi everyone, Chris from Brisbane here, to share my thoughts and my recollection of Kylie's original album. I remember gardening with my dad one day, as I often did in the 80s. I was 4 years old. My dad never gardened in the 80s without his wireless radio out in the garden. And I remember I Should Be So Lucky came onto the radio, and I think that's the day that my life changed. I remember thinking, wow, and having grown up on such great, Australian 80s classics, being surrounded by, your family and your parents at barbecues around that time, like you'd grown up on stuff that was so different, stuff that we all loved. But I remember I Should Be So Lucky just sounding like nothing that I had ever heard before. It was like something inside me had awoken as soon as I heard those quintessential 80s synths that Stock Aitken and Waterman were so well known for. I thought it was the most amazing thing I'd ever heard. Anyway, followed by, Gotta Be Certain came out. I fell in love with Gotta Be Certain. The video was fantastic. I just absolutely loved it. I think it was Christmas 1988. after listening and listening like I would sit by the radio and just wait to hear I Should Be So Lucky, Gotta Be Certain as the singles kind of came through. Christmas 1988, our household was absolute chaos. My mum was heavily pregnant with my youngest brother. They had decided to embark on a home extension at the same time. We had no kitchen, we had no laundry. It was nuts. It was a chaotic time. That Christmas, I got from Santa a Sony boombox, and to accompany my Sony boombox, I got for Christmas the repackaged or reissued, if you like, Kylie collection, which, you know, I almost died that Christmas morning being a 5-year-old getting that. I probably gave that cassette an absolute flogging. I still own it to this day. The first piece of Kylie anything that I owned other than, you know, 80s magazine cutouts, and there was so much of it at the time that this album was released. But my first cassette, my first Kylie anything I ever owned, my dad is still not admitted to this day. During that chaotic period, I would sit in my bedroom and just play the Kylie collection from side A to side B, from side A to side B to side A, and it just kept going and going and going. My dad still to this day has not admitted to the fact that the cord to my boombox went missing for a very, very long time, and I'm sure that there's a reason for that back in the day. Still, you know, I don't listen to it regularly these days. It still gets played quite a lot. I love the original Kylie album. There's nothing like it. Probably number one when I've had far too much to drink or I've had a really bad day and need cheering up. I pop it back on. It never fails to put me in a great mood and remind me of my childhood and the original Kylie that we all know and love.
What did Hunter Biden do?
Why does it always go back to Hunter Biden?
Why does it always come back to Trump being blamed for everything? Do you realize that the Democrats have been...
Because he's a Russian dick pig!
No, he's not.
Because he likes dictators!
Oh, really? Because that's hilarious.
He likes
because you know what?
men because he's a weak, emasculate bitch.
You can also Google this. You know, okay, really quick, I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't care if this gets put in the recording or not. I don't really feel that we need to stoop to cursing each other out. Okay,
I'm not cursing. I said Trump's a little bitch. No, I didn't say you were a little bitch.
F word. You keep cursing. Every other word that's falling out of your mouth is an abrasive word. You don't need to be foul-mouthed to have an argument.
Okay. Absolutely.
Just because you're raising your voice and you're using curse words doesn't mean that you're winning the argument. It just makes it more ridiculous.
Sweetheart, I'm not trying to win an argument.
No, okay, really quick.
There's not even an argument to be had.
Gentlemen. This is the reunion of the century. They said Jazzy P stepping onto the Tension tour with Kylie Minogue was a reunion that was worth waiting a lifetime for. Well, here's one as well, ladies and gentlemen. Madam Roastbeef and Sean, some of you will remember from what do we call it? I think somebody called it the gayest debate of all time.
That's hilarious.
I hope it wasn't me. I don't think it was. It was pretty robust. And listen, before even Madam and Sean get a chance to talk, I'm going to say this to the listeners. Do not turn off. They're not talking about politics. They're going to talk about pop culture this time. We thought we'd give it a go, see if we can get some consensus here.
There you go. Something exciting.
Right.
That's right. In saying that, Madam, how do you feel about this reunion?
I feel good. I honestly really think Sean is a sweetheart, even if we have differing political views. Like I have said, I have had a lot of sexual encounters with MAGA, even if I don't align with.
Did you say sexual encounters?
Oh, for sure. I've had lots. Because can I be honest? It could never go past a hookup because they want more, and I'm just like, this is too much. I can't. I want to yell at you. But so it could never go into like a further romantical thing. Right. But in terms of like a sexual, escapade, it was fun. It was fun. It was
right. Okay. I think I'm following. And Sean, the reunion that nobody asked for is finally here. How are you feeling?
I'm good. I'm feeling really good. I'm feeling really good about it.
We're having a Baja Blast.
When you both visit Australia, I want you to visit Byron Bay. It's actually not too far from where I live. Beautiful part of the world. But they make cookies, and I've got some in front of me, and you're never meant to eat while you're on a podcast, but I'm going to break that rule today while you guys have a chat.
We love a little
Byron
cookie
Bay,
moment.
macadamia, white chocolate. Try them. They're amazing. Really, really good. So, look, can I ask, which one of you know the answer to this? Justin Bieber changed his name, not legally, of course, but on his handle, I think, on Instagram to Little Bieber, Lil Bieber,
Yeah.
Little Bieber. What's that all about?
Did he do that? Did he do that?
Yeah, he
He
did.
did.
He did. I think it's referring to Jack, his son.
But people are reading a lot into it.
For me,
Because they
I
said
don't
that
know
he's
much
like.
about.
Go ahead.
It's really weird. I really don't know much about the whole Bieber situation other than I really do feel so bad for him because you can tell just based off the interactions he has with paparazzi. It's like, leave me the hell alone.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine. I sympathize so much with people. Could you imagine being followed around, stalked by people just so they take your photograph and make money off of you? It's gross. It's an invasion of
Excuse me,
privacy on such a
madam,
level.
that is your life, isn't it?
No, trust and believe. No one's following me around and taking photographs.
I saw some old man accosting you not long ago.
Oh my God, Tim! There was an old man that pulled me over on the side of the street, and offered me $60 to suck my dick, and I was so scared.
Well, that's a different one. The one I saw. The one I saw, he was yelling abuse at you.
Yeah, Tim, that was next level.
Yeah, it is next level. But Sean, I'm going to ask you this. What is going on with Justin Bieber? Because even though Little Bieber, I think people are reading too much into that, he's going toe-to-toe with the paparazzi. He gets out of his car. He goes, stop, stop, stop. It's the money, the money, the money. Like, what's he doing?
I think it's an accumulation of things. I mean, this is all speculatory too, what I'm about to say. So no one can say that I'm saying it and it's fact, but this is my belief on the situation. I think a lot of it has to do with stuff that's going on with the whole Diddy trial and everything like that. And there's like videos and stuff like that have resurfaced of him when he was younger, hanging out in clubs and stuff like that with Diddy and his people, and like a lot of alleged stuff happened with them. So I think there's a lot of trauma that's there that's starting to resurface, and I think it's causing him to lash out and causing him to kind of like lose it a little bit, which I feel I definitely empathize and sympathize. Just like Madam was saying, I feel really bad for him with everything that's going on. So yeah. I think it's starting to take a toll.
For anyone who says we shouldn't be speculating, they can go and jump off a cliff. I mean, the guy is looking atrocious. He's gaunt. He's got dark circles under his eyes. His behavior is absolutely erratic. You've seen him snips behind the scenes at various concerts and festivals. I think this is serious, though, Matt. I think he's in trouble.
Yeah, well, yeah. And realistically, personally, my opinion on a lot of things when it comes to like pop culture and being in the world of singers and pop singers and artists and stuff like that is drugs are such a serious thing. I'm not saying he's a drug addict dad or anything like that, but when you have your life and your every aspect of your daily function under a microscope by the whole world, and not only by the whole world, but by people who are trying to make money off of you by taking photographs of you, and they're like, please do something embarrassing, please do something that will make me coin. It's really gross, and it puts into perspective like the lack of humanity of the world, because he's creating art. He is an artist. He's not a perfect person for everyone to look up to right now, maybe per se with his outlashings, but at the same time he's still a dad and he just wants to be a dad. Let him and
function. That's the thing, madam. I'm going to hone in on that becoming a father is one of the most euphoric times of your life, usually, right? Right. Very generally speaking. So, and he was besotted before his baby was born. He was posting about that. But let's have a look at some facts here. So May 2025, he made a post where he described himself as selfish and full of self-hate. This was after the birth of his son. He had that Lyme disease back in 2022. Remember, he showed part of his face was paralyzed, and he was quite happy to talk about. I think it was called Ramsay Hunt syndrome, actually. That was the facial paralysis.
I don't think it was. I don't think it was Lyme disease
before that.
I don't think I even knew about that. That's crazy.
He did. And so then he's got some posts that seem to show a falling out with his partner. So when people again say we're speculating, yeah, sure, we are, but not because of any other reason than his own posts and his own behavior. I'm really sincerely worried about him. And you said let's not call him a drug addict, but there's no question that something is changing his behavior, and he looks out of it to me.
Like I could not imagine being followed around by people because regardless of what anyone wants to say, I think it's predatory when paparazzis are using people to take, oh, let's get a scandalous photo. Oh, let's get a photo that'll make it is predatory because you're using someone for your own personal profit and to exploit them in a public way. I think it's so gross. I think it's so disturbing. And I understand I want to see photos of my favorite singer when they go to an event, but I don't want to see them on the beach having fun with their kids or going out into the park or going to lunch. Like, let them do whatever they want.
I'm going to stand up for the press here. You don't see many celebrities' kids in photos anymore, and if they are there, they're usually blurred out. But I mean, the photo is worth a baseline amount if he did nothing. But when he comes over and starts ranting and taking off his beanie and lashing out and all the stuff he does, the price goes right up through the roof. So should he be taking some responsibility in all of this?
For sure.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He should definitely be taking responsibility because at the end of the day, I mean, you're the one that's lashing out. Clearly you're not dealing with something that's going on, mentally that's happening with you. You're not checking in with yourself. But I feel like this has kind of been overdue and it's been like a long thing coming because, I mean, after the whole Selena Gomez thing, breaking up and all of that stuff, and basically everyone ridiculing him for that, which I get so tired of, like when women, it's okay for women to treat a man a certain way, but if a man treats a woman a certain way, it's like, oh my God, you can't treat her like that. You can't treat her like that.
Yeah, there's the double
then it turns into,
for sure.
Yeah, and I just get so tired of the double standard, like Taylor Swift thinking like it's okay to like get involved in it and all that stuff too, and like laughing and making jokes, making ridiculous comments about him, and and then like when he writes songs about Selena, like, oh, it's so bad, but it's okay when Selena, like, it's girl power when Selena does it, but when he does it, it's a man bashing a woman and it's not okay. And I just get sick of the double standard and everything like that. It's
sexism
annoying.
For sure. It definitely is sexism. I feel like when I was watching that video with Justin and that paparazzi, all I could think is, you're giving him what he wants. He's not hurt by anything you're saying. He's not making a connection that he's invading your space and treating you like you're an animal in a zoo. You're giving him the content he wants to make money off of. Shut that mouth. You have too much power in the world, and you have too much impact to show yourself acting a fool. Do not give him the photos, the videos, the footage he wants. Ignore him. I understand being under that microscope and being scrutinized and being observed like you are an animal in a zoo. I could not imagine how invading, dehumanizing, and just grotesque that is. But at the same time, don't feed him. He wants you to feed him. He's begging you, do something crazy. Give me that footage that's going to get clicks and likes. And it did. I saw it, for God's sakes. It's unfortunate.
He's always had this problem, and a lot of celebrities have, and I do take them to task, that this idea that we shouldn't have to be stalked, and they use that word, which is a bit over dramatic, stalked and followed and papped in their private time. I sort of get the argument a tiny bit, but come on, guys, they made a decision to get into this industry.
You're a millionaire.
They are so filthy rich. He doesn't have to walk to the Starbucks. I know that they don't want to be caged up like animals, but I don't understand. If I had that much money, I really believe I could get to Starbucks without being seen. I could be naive. Maybe they would find me no matter what, but I would dress up as a woman. I would dress up in latex. I would get out there if that was what I wanted to do. I don't understand. It's almost like they're stirring the pot, Sean. It's almost like they're going, I'm going to walk out my door and I know exactly what's going to happen, but I'm angry and I want someone to trigger me so I can get all this rage out. That's what it feels like. It feels like entrapment of the paparazzi, not the other way around to me.
Oh, I agree. In some cases, I think that goes both ways. I think that there could be like entrapment where they already know that he's like flying off the hinge a little bit. So they're going push his buttons because they've seen in other videos of like, oh, that he found that triggering. Let's do it again to him. And let's see if we can get a reaction out of him. And I'll be the first one and it'll be on TMZ and I'll get like $10,000 for this clip. I'll get this for this clip. I'll get this for this picture. So I think it goes both ways in regards. And I do agree. And I do definitely agree with you with what you were saying about, this is kind of like something that comes with the territory, like the, I'm going to say something very controversial right now, and it'll probably piss a lot of people off, especially women, but like, it's kind of like the hashtag Me Too thing. I don't agree with men taking advantage of women, but I think it's very naive to say, and it's a dumb game to play of, well, he invited me up to his hotel room, but I didn't know that this is what was going to happen. Like you didn't?
Like he didn't invite you up there to play fucking checkers.
Yeah, like
what
did you think you were getting invited to a hotel room? Like in what job do you get invited to a hotel room to do an interview or to practice something? So you getting invited to the hotel room, I'm not saying it justifies it if something happened. I would never condone anything like that, sexual assault or anything like that. But like it's very, like you said, the reason why I'm comparing it a little bit is it's like, yeah, it's kind of naive for you to say, well, I didn't expect that when I became famous that I'd be followed everywhere. Well, you are, because social media, all of this, everyone, fans, all of this are all trying to get as close or be like the person that they idolize. So obviously it sells.
They want to have those interactions.
Yeah. So people are going to go crazy, and then you're going to have paparazzi going crazy because it sells. It gives them money. It's money in their thing. And again, I think
I'm honestly so depressed. I'm honestly so depressed that he actually went on that rant as the dude's filming, as it's being filmed. Why are you giving him what he wants?
Exactly. You played into it.
Part of me honestly believes that he wanted that to be seen, because there's no way someone with that much money and being in the public eye literally since he was a little boy, there's no way that someone is that like daft and unaware of this is going to be seen by people. They're going to make this a big story.
Oh, he wants I agree with
story.
You.
I'm giving him the story. Like is like a cry for help. Like, what is it? I don't know.
It's actually a form of self-harm. It really is. He's hopping out full of rage, knowing that this will happen and knowing that he's going to pop his cork and that he wants to pop his cork. If you notice what he was saying during the last couple of exchanges, I'm a dad, I'm a dad, I'm a dad. He repeats it over and over. So this is a guy who, I'm going to get real deep here, but this is 100% true. Anyone who becomes a parent who's experienced quite significant trauma in their past, it's very common for them to think that they've dealt with that trauma and that it's behind them. But when you hold that newborn, it happened for me, all right? I had electricity the first time I held my son, but it was like electricity through my body. How did anyone ever let me get hurt? Looking into this baby and then realizing my own traumas, that somebody or the world, whatever you want to call it, I'd been hurt. And I was as vulnerable as this thing in my arms. So I would say that for Justin, going right out there on a presumptuous limb, I'd say there's a lot of that going on for him. And I think he's self-medicating because there's no question that there's a drug-induced, whether it's just marijuana or not.
I was going to say, I hope it's just weed. Good God.
I hope it's just weed, but there's something.
Maybe it's weed and like alcohol maybe, but like I don't know, because I don't know. But yeah, he's definitely been acting and lashing out. I mean, and we live in LA, so I mean, I'm dealing with it. Like we see it all the time. So
I just don't understand his like thought process behind having that encounter. Why even speak to them? Ignore them. If they
like
say
you said, I think it's because he wanted to.
Smile.
I think he needed something to lash out at, and that was the moment.
For sure. There's no other explanation.
Sometimes amateurs know best, and a lack of professionalism is all you'll hear on the Time to Talk show. Join Tim and his panel of guests as they wade their way through a range of news, music, and pop culture treats. Time to Talk, the show hosted by amateurs for unprofessional listeners.
Celebrities since the beginning of time have battled. I mean, think of Michael Jackson in particular and his ridiculous statements. He sat in front of Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer, Oprah Winfrey, and always said the same thing: print something nice. Print something nice. It's like, it's just so naive. That is not the role of the media, to print something nice. I totally get that the media went way over the top with all of those huge mega celebrities.
Yeah, for sure.
But this is the question. Is it reasonable when they have untold wealth? Can you imagine waking up in the morning and going, do you know what? I'm sick of all this shit. I'm going to go to Tahiti. And you can. And you don't.
Literally just completely relocate. Like, it's crazy.
I'm going to get a massage. I can even afford that. I'm going to Nicole Kidman with her 6-handed massage recently, which really amused me.
Crazy.
I just untold wealth. And the question is, does that mean that they should have to put up with that side of fame. My answer is actually, well, yeah, I'm sorry, but that's part of it.
I agree.
You're a public figure. You asked for this.
100%.
You might not have known what it felt like until it happened, but you aspired to it. You can't now take it back. I'm sorry.
Well, and to go back to the Justin thing, he grew up with this. This wasn't like, oh, just this. He must have done something. Let's get out of our.
But also, like, remember, like when he first started out, because he started out like on YouTube, and then when he came to America from Canada, like, don't forget, like, remember how much he was hated here too. Like in America, people actually signed like a paper to try to get him to like be deported back to Canada, and like jokingly kept always saying, so like there was a whole petition to get him to get out of America
and everything.
Yeah, like, and it had like 175,000 signatures. Like, everyone wanted him gone from here and everything. So think about how traumatizing that was as a child, because he was a kid. He wasn't even 18 yet, and that was going on. You were like looked at as the most hated kid and all that stuff. There was like a lot of dark shit with his life. Yeah, like there's a lot that he has gone through.
Do you know, though, madam, that the saddest part about this to me is Bieber seems like the nicest person in the world. I've followed him since he was a kid. I was a father when he was starting out, so I did look at him like that. Oh, young up and comer, good on him for getting a contract and all that sort of stuff. And I've watched his whole career blossom. He's always struck me as full of manners. He's a gentleman. I think at heart, he's a real gentleman. Like, he has manners, he has courtesy,
especially coming out that way, because his I think his parents are absolute trash. I think his mother and his father are both trash, and I think that they used him as a cash cow for sure to get whatever they could out of him.
That's always how people do with their kids.
Threw him to the wayside. And like, look at now we're dealing with all the repercussions of that. So this is all the repercussions of them not being parents and letting him be with adults that he should have never been with. I mean, the stuff that he had to go through. Like I said, that was back in 200014. So that was 11 years ago when
I think he was 15 years old, right?
Yeah, 14 years ago. Yeah. Back in 2014 is when they petitioned. It was 273 or 74,000 people that like signed to get him deported back to Canada, which was never going to happen. Even the White House, that was Obama at the time, said, yeah, we're not doing anything. We're not commenting on this. Like, better luck next time. Nothing's happening.
But on top of that, what parent? I don't know much about the parents. I really don't. I know that he seems to love both of them. Seems to be a bit estranged from his father to an extent. But what parent lets him go off at the age of 15 in Lamborghinis to Diddy's house? Come on now.
Exactly.
Would you, like, I don't care how famous you are or how special you are. Like, you don't let a 15-year-old do that. You don't.
Yeah, and like, what about that video of Justin Bieber with Odell Beckham?
What was that one about?
I don't think I saw that video.
You never saw that video? It's like when he was younger. There's a video on YouTube. You can actually go look it up right now. It's Justin Bieber, Odell Beckham at the Jaguar Club, I think it was. Mm-hmm. And the video doesn't look very good. I mean, I'm going to...
Is that the one where Diddy's there? As well?
I don't know if Diddy was in the video. I think someone else was recording the video, and they were like going around the club, and it looks like he's like caught in a very precarious manner. Something was going on. It didn't look right. The video definitely didn't look, and he's like young. He's underage, and he looks like he was involved in something. And
I'm looking at it. Yeah, that's really.
And then there's the Diddy comment in plain view on public television, sitting next to him saying, what goes on behind the scenes stays behind the scenes. And it's like, if anyone said that to your 15-year-old, you'd be saying, no, there are no secrets at this age. There are no special private relationships, Diddy, because that is,
and there is no scene that you're going to be staying behind. Exactly.
It's literally the definition of grooming. So here's the question of the moment. He's put out a statement. Let's be fair. He said, no, nothing happened with Diddy. Nothing. Did something happen? Has someone sexually abused Bieber or trafficked him or used him as a trophy in some form?
So sick to even think about.
I don't know if I could actually say for sure or certain, but I definitely feel that something traumatizing happened to him when he was younger, for sure.
Absolutely.
Something happened. I don't know exactly the details of if it was sexual assault. I don't know, but something happened to him when he was younger, for sure. And I don't know
Well,
if
Sean,
it's just
it all got stirred up when he realized he was going to be a father. That's when we see this decline of Bieber start to happen when she's in
which was
pregnancy.
also around the same time though that Diddy was getting indicted. So I
Yes.
mean, it could just be an
Crazy.
accumulation of things, but it was
Right.
all around the same time that this was happening. So do I think something
But
happened?
he's never come out and
Yes.
defended Diddy. So his statement says nothing happened, but the statement didn't say, and by the way, I don't believe this. I don't think Diddy's done anything
No,
wrong.
yeah,
Diddy's my hero.
yeah,
Diddy's my
exactly.
father. He said nothing. So it's what he didn't say that was just
Yep.
as important as what he did say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I think he was kind of
it
hoping.
speaks volumes.
Yeah, I think he was kind of hoping that it's going to get brushed under the rug, but everyone's kind of watching him dwindle down, and he's kind of starting to spiral for sure. So, and I noticed it started happening like when Diddy first like started getting questioned, and that video of him and was it Sierra came out and all of that, and with him beating her and all that stuff in the elevator. And then all of a sudden, this sexual allegations started coming forward. All these people were saying all these things happen at these parties, all of this trafficking and all of this other stuff started happening. And then at the same time, Hailey Bieber is pregnant with their child. It's his first child. It's a son. So he's kind of like you said, I think like picturing all the stuff and trauma that he has gone through. And he now just wants to protect his kin, his livelihood, his legacy. You know,
I'm not making anything big out of this, madam, but at these parties that Diddy threw, you could only wear white. You had to be moisturized before you got into your clothes by yourself, not somebody else. Really, really odd stuff. But something just you said, madam, weird. Has really stuck out to me. You said when you're really a creative person, and let's face it, Bieber is hyper talented, super creative, then it's part of your DNA. He hasn't released anything for a long time. Is he basically retired? Do either of you know? I don't think think he's doing anything creative at the moment.
Who, Diddy?
No, sorry,
Bieber.
Bieber.
Oh, Bieber. No, well, Bieber he sold his what's it called? His whole
that
collection catalog for 200 million.
All his music.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like that was kind of weird too when all that, and then all the things happened with his former manager.
Justin hasn't released an album, I think, since like 2021 or something like that. So it's been 4 years, and we're in the era of music where like albums come out every year for an artist. So it's really shocking. But how old is this kid? Is it horrible? I don't even actually know.
Got to be headed towards 30, doesn't he?
No.
Bieber's 31.
No. Justin's child.
10 months. 10 months.
10 months. Yeah, so he's not even a year old yet.
Not even a year old yet, but
yeah.
But still, I mean, these past 4 years, that's crazy. That's been like no new music. At the same time, maybe he's happy in his marriage and he wants to just focus on being a husband. When you're that rich, you don't need to worry about when the next album comes out. Just focus on his family, and if he wants to, then who else is anyone to say that he
However,
can't,
let's recap. So we've got, 2 serious health issues, Lyme's disease and then the other syndrome that came a bit later, which, by the way, I'd be curious to know if they're sort of linked. Once you get these immune sort of issues, I've noticed with people that I know, they seem to... It's not a matter of bad luck. They seem to get a run of these things. So they've got health issues. There's some creepy pastor hanging around that apparently has a lot of religious influence over him.
He's always talking about Jesus and God. It makes my skin crawl.
He's become a father. There's the Diddy stuff going on. There seems to be some sort of substance abuse. If you believe the rumors, his relationship with his wife isn't so great at the moment. Look, there's a lot going on for this poor dude. And I would also argue that if you're really, really creative, a lot of creative people say this, if you're really creative and not creating, that's like a blocked pipe inside of your heart.
For
as well.
sure. Yeah. It's unhealthy. There's got to be like a buildup of like, I feel like I'm at a standstill. I feel like I'm not contributing to my art. I'm not being creative. I'm not doing
what you were born to do.
I'm not doing what I was born to do. I'm not doing what has allowed me to have the life that I have.
All right. So let's round the conversation about Bieber out. Like Sean said at the beginning, lots of speculation. I'm sorry, they're celebrities. That's what we do. That's actually
that's
part
really
of the
all
reason
you
we
can
follow
do.
celebrity. But what's your advice, Sean? Big, huge moment for you to solve all of Bieber's crises. What would you say to Bieber if you could sit with him? What would you say to him?
I would definitely tell him that he needs to find help. He needs to definitely be talking with someone, an outside person, and he needs to be conveying all of his feelings and everything that's going on inside of his mind, and stop being afraid to actually let it all out and say everything that you're feeling and going through. You need to
use the word
do
afraid.
Something about that
stop
came
being right as a
of,
reflex from you too, Sean. I think that's a really interesting word that your mind chose to use, afraid, because I see fear, huge fear. And Madam, what would you say to him? And do you have the same worry that I have, that literally we're looking at yet another star who might not be here in a couple of years' time?
So realistically, I don't think anything is going to happen to Bieber. I like health wise. I don't think in a million lifetimes he would ever just seeing the interaction with how he's like, I'm a dad, leave me alone. I don't think he would ever put himself in a position where he's doing hardcore drugs where he would jeopardize his life. I hope not. Fingers crossed. He's only 31 years old. He's still young. If I had to or in any way could give advice, it would be don't have the burst outs, don't have the tantrums. The world can empathize and understand what you're going through, but and dealing with. I could never imagine being followed around by people so they could exploit me for their own financial gain and project my light. It's creepy. It's gross. At the same time, that's what comes with your career. You've been in this your whole life. So and it's allowed you to have the wealth and the career and the legacy and all these things that you have. So for me, it would be, don't give them, because that's all that paparazzi wanted. That's all that paparazzi didn't want to make himself look like an asshole. And in the video, I didn't see anything that made him look like an asshole, although who knows what happened off camera. But it's don't have those outbursts, because you're giving them exactly what they want and you're making yourself look bad.
Yeah.
If someone's following around with the camera, smile and look cute as hell. And for Justin, that's not that hard. He's pretty.
Now, before we talk really briefly about Katy Perry, who'd like a macadamia shortbread bite? There's only a few left. Do you want one, Sean? Do you want to hear?
Sure.
We love a macadamia nut. Come on.
They're only little. They're little bite-sized ones, and I finished
nibble?
my tea, so I won't eat them dry. They have to go in my tea. So I'm out.
You like them soggy?
Well, no, I get them in my mouth. I get them in my gob pretty quick, madam.
Just a little moist, huh?
Just a little moist. That's right.
Just a little wet. We're okay with that.
There is such a thing as too wet. That's true.
That's funny.
Okay, so Katy Perry, really briefly. Now, madam, you've been on the show and spoken about Katy before.
Katy's scary. Oh, my God.
I want to burst a myth, though, before we get into it, which is this myth that, this tour, which is getting brutalized, it's
so
really fun. I think it's fun. I watched it from beginning to end. I thought, this is really fun. She came to Australia. She was completely sold out. She got beautiful kids on the stage and old people on the stage. She has this beautiful interaction, a bit like Kylie, with the audience. She's not aloof. She's engaging. I think the tour has been amazing, but she too seems to be under strain, and it's been said that the marriage is over.
Yeah, and
they never got married, actually. So they've only been engaged for the last 10 years. So they've never got married.
Really? Have they been engaged though? Have they?
Yeah. They've been engaged for
and
almost 9
Sean,
years.
The reason I think that's important is because it's one thing to say, I'm just not the type of person to get married, total respect. But if you're engaged, in other words, you've made an agreement that at some stage you will get married, but it takes 9-10 years and you're still not, there's a problem there, surely.
There's a major problem there.
So if you go back and you watch if you watch interviews and stuff like that, so when she was on American Idol and all that stuff, if you ever watch little moments and stuff like that, they have these little clips where you catch these little quick things. If you're not paying attention to the conversation, you miss it. But she's actually openly said that Orlando, she's not allowed to drink. She's not allowed to drink alcohol. And
she can't have any alcohol? I didn't know that.
No, because Orlando has said that she cannot drink, because I believe that she has a drinking problem. And I think that it started to come back again after the whole space thing happened, because I think she went a little off the deep end with the space thing, calling herself an astronaut and all of that stuff.
That was so next level.
Lady, you were up in space for 2 minutes. Literally, It takes
So
longer to
crazy.
brew a pot of coffee than it did for you to be in space. Like you were in space and back, and the coffee was still brewing. Like, stop.
And, and she's kissing the ground like she went on some voyage to Mars. Like that was the most absurd thing I've ever looked at.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. None of those women were astronauts. Do I think it was cool that they went up to space? Yes, but you're not an astronaut. You were in space for 2 minutes. Like, stop trying to mitigate what astronauts do.
It also doesn't help that as someone that is disabled and struggling and financially, it was almost disturbing to see someone spend how much was it?
I can't even remember, to be honest with you, but it was like ridiculous.
It was millions of dollars to have them go in space for 10 minutes. I understand it's a cool experience for you to have, but to do that when there's countless wars going on the planet. People can't even buy goddamn eggs, for God's sakes. They can't even get a goddamn omelet. It's insulting, and it's again that disconnect. That I'm a pop star, I'm a diva, I can do it. I'm a California girl. It's like in my personal opinion, I really do think it does show the complete disconnect from. Like,
it was really crass, and Madam, I can't agree with you entirely on that. Like, the world can't stop because some people are in pain. But
I understand, but
it was so tone deaf though. And Sean, you and we've spoken about this before. This whole celebrities when they get like honestly so out of touch that they think coming back.
Well, they become so self-righteous, and it's like, pull your head out of your ass and quit wearing it as a hat. Yeah. No one is buying the bullshit you're selling right now. Like, knock it off. Like,
to be fair, they would have had a profound experience, though. They would have.
Oh, no, oh my God, I would love it. I would be so happy to go up to space and come back like that. That would be amazing. It probably was the experience in itself. Yeah, like the experience itself was cool and crazy. I think it's awesome. But don't come back down here. And this goes to like Gayle King and Lauren Sanchez. Don't come down here and try to make it seem like you just like broke the record or you just discovered another planet or anything. You were up in space and back down on Earth. Like I said, before a pot of coffee would have even finished brewing. Like, knock it off. And it was all a self-propelled rocket. No one was flying it. They were not touching anything. They weren't in charge or responsible for anything, but to sit there and wait until they can unbuckle their seatbelt and wait until they can come back down to Earth. That was it. They were not responsible for anything else. Those women couldn't literally find their way out of a paper bag if they were given the opportunity, and then to try to mitigate what actual women have done that are astronauts, to try to play it down and make it seem like, oh, well, I'm an astronaut. Now, you are not an astronaut.
I'll write a check and I'll get a seat on the plane.
Exactly. Just like when these stars go and do these commencement speeches and they get a degree. You didn't get a degree. You got an honorary thing because you came to do a freaking speech. Like, you didn't attend Harvard. Like, calm down, sit down. You're not a Harvard graduate. Like, go sit down.
It was because of your name, girly. And I can admire the fact that she was able to like show the I was in space. It was really cool. But like kissing the ground, sobbing, like she just had some sort of
exactly.
I think you're both way too harsh on that. I kiss the ground when I get it off the Bush Beastie, which is a roller coaster in Australia.
You slobber on dirt? I don't think you're slobbering on dirt, Tim.
No, but you know what, though? I think, you know what? I probably would have believed it more if the previous way she acted and stuff like that. To me, I always feel like with Katy Perry, it's always, who has a camera and I need to do this for show. I never feel that she's being genuine.
It's always
because if you watched her on American Idol, it always
she was mean to people to get a reaction. Yeah,
and always. It was always about her, though. She always brought the conversation back to her. Took away anything that was happening. Like this person could have come from rags, and they were talking about how they've struggled their whole life, and they're so happy to be here in front of the cameras, and this is their dream. Oh, you know what? I had a dream too. My dream was to do this. This was my dream. And oh my God, you guys. So I got to tell you about this dream that I had. So,
she goes on this huge escapade.
Her, and it's like, oh my God, again, shut the hell up. You don't have to have a word limit in a conversation. Don't talk and just listen and then enjoy. Like, you don't have to ruin the moment or make it all about you. And I feel like Orlando Bloom is kind of sick of it and doesn't want their child to be exposed to this kind of relationship with the two of them and living in a household under the same roof. I think he's given her enough chances. That's why this engagement has gone on for as long. And if you remember, too, they actually broke up for a little while and then got back together. So like their relationship has already been off and on. And
on the rocks or whatever.
Yeah, it's always been on the rocks. And I feel a lot of it is because Orlando Bloom does not take her serious and does not feel that she is going to put forth the effort to make the relationship actually be what it's supposed to be. I very much do believe that Orlando Bloom is very traditional in relationship and wants a marriage and wants
Sean,
a family.
I'm going to agree with you to the extent of if Katy Perry is out of touch, big green tick for that. But I can tell you, you've got to read the Orlando Bloom writing that he did for a magazine in London. It's his two-day diary or something it's called. It is absolutely the number one, and just don't forget who's talking here. I read everything. The number one most obnoxious, out-of-touch thing I've ever read in my entire life. He
really
is so disturbed. So the point being, I think
he's disturbed. What the hell did he say in it?
Oh, you'll have to read it. It's like I start my day with a shot of this, and then I go and do this, and then honestly,
you know what? Actually, I think I did hear about that. So, like, maybe they're both so far up their own asses that there's not enough room in the relationship. There's not enough. There's too much hot air in the room. Like,
and ironically, this is why I love the world of celebrity and hate it at the same time, because celebrities, unless they get to it a little bit later in life. And by the way, Madonna's one of those. She was 24 or so when she first hit the big time. But if they get it too early, like Bieber, their whole world is distorted because honestly,
there's that sense
the
of
life that you
entitlement.
lead, Sean. Madam, you lead the same life I do. We're all slogging every day for the next paycheck, for the next opportunity, for the next, like to buy a car, to buy a house, to pay a bill. These people don't have that. And on top of it, they've got every sycophantic person around them telling them yes, 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 yes.
Yep, 100%.
And it seems like a dream, but it's not a dream. It's the worst thing for the human spirit.
But also in the entertainment space, you always have to one up. You always have to one up yourself. You have to do better and better and bigger and badder. You have to make more noise. You have to get more people. You have to get more clicks. You have to get more likes. You have to get more attention. And it really is a game. What can I do to get people to acknowledge me? And when you look at Katy Perry, who in my opinion has not had I love her. I loved her couple singles, Daisies, Never Really Over, but they didn't get the radio attention that in my opinion, I thought they deserved. They weren't with Dr. Puke. I was applauding her for that, and for her to go back to Dr. Luke, to go back to working with the scumbags, like right after the lawsuit's over and eyes are and the whole situation's not under a microscope and the public eye isn't going to criticize her. She's like, well, shit, I can go back and maybe I'll have a teenage dream, the sequel. And it's like, why wait to that moment? Because what? It wasn't appropriate for you to do it because you thought you might receive backlash from it. Just the same way Kim Petras received backlash. And funny enough, what is Kim Petras doing? Not working with the pig. Not working with the pigs, trying to separate herself from the pig. And I don't think that's coincidence. It really comes down to it where it's like, it was good for me to distance myself then because it was on public view and I would have received backlash for doing so. But then when my singles weren't as successful as past singles were, I thought, why not go try it? And then the new album, oh my God, garbage, trash.
Should she just bow out, Sean, of pop music now? Because it feels like with some artists, they have ebbs and flows. Katy's, I'm just talking professionally here, not personally. Her professional life has been really sad to watch because it's been a death by 1,000 cuts. It hasn't been a staggering just bang off. Everything she's done since that Witness album has just become progressively more sad, less commercial. Nobody cares.
I think what it is still trying. I think what it is that she's struggling. Like, I mean, it's kind of good that we're talking about Bieber first and then talking about her. I feel like it's kind of like the same thing I would be giving. I feel like there is a lot going on in her mental life and in her personal well-being is not being looked after. And I feel like she's not paying attention. And these are all signs of like a potential breakdown that's eventually going to happen because we're just keep steaming ahead and ignoring it, thinking it's going to get better or something's going to change. And I feel like we're also going to be witnessing it soon too with her because I've heard and seen a lot of videos of her at her concerts acting very erratic and everything, especially lately. And I have heard and I've read, so it's kind of funny that you said that it was like sold out in Australia. I've read complete opposite here, that her shows are not doing well here.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Like it's not doing good. I feel like she's on the verge of we're about to have a Britney moment essentially about her with her, because, like now the guy that she's been with for the last 10 years on and off and has a child with no longer wants to be with her and is calling it quits, because I feel I think she has a substance abuse issue as well, because she's claimed. Yeah, I do. I think she does. I believe
alcohol. You think
she does? Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do.
I don't know.
That's my speculation for everyone. It's like my opinion, not
to me.
fact.
Like I'm not worried about Katy. I totally appreciate that you both sort of are. I'm not. I think she's rather a kooky person. So when she acts erratic, I watch those clips too and think that's just Katy thinking that's her quirky, strange sense of humor. I watch her interviews. She seems very together to me. She's totally out of touch. That handbag thing she did made me want to vomit. This is my capsicum lip balm and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, yeah,
anyway,
so ridiculous.
But it's typical celebrity stuff, though. I don't see her as out of control. It's very sad, the chapter she's going through, for sure.
I wouldn't even say it's only sad. It's honestly embarrassing a little bit because
it is.
Like I said, growing up, Katy Perry, I used to call myself a Katy cat. Hardcore was head over heels. Teenage Dream, I was blasting it. One of the boys blasting it. But there came a point where in her career, I was just like, what is going on? What happened? And then to have the lead single off of her last album be called Woman's World, but then produced by a known abuser of women.
Alleged abuser.
An alleged abuser. I'll use the Tim approved vocabulary. but it shows the same tone deafness as to her coming down and slobbering all over the dirt like she was up in there on a 40-year voyage. It's like where's the sense of that you are a living organism on this planet? That she
needs to take some time out. The thing about Katy that makes me feel safe that she's okay is that she's always wanted to be enlightened. I don't know if you had the absolute not privilege of watching her in the Witness. Remember, she made her own Big Brother house, and it was called the Witness House.
Oh,
I watched so much of that live stream, and let me tell you what I saw. A lady, it was boring. That's the problem in entertainment. It was boring. However, she had lots of experts in all these fields: science, maths, entertainment, religion,
How did I not even know she
philosophy.
Did that? That's so funny.
And she did have the capacity to sit there, shut her mouth, and listen to these people. Look, I don't think she was understanding a lot of it, and to be honest, neither was I, because she had mathematicians and famous scientists in there. And
mathematicians doing what?
Yeah, well, she was saying, I want to be enlightened. I want to be a witness to enlightenment. Was basically it went right over the.
She was having some sort of religious awakening.
Well, an enlightenment, a bit like the Kabbalah for Madonna, I suppose. God. But the fact that she wanted to do that is a wonderful thing. To round this out, because we're running out of time, what would be the number one shock to Katy Perry if she got to live in your body and your life for 48 hours? What would be the thing that would open her eyes the most?
In my body?
Yeah, she's inhabiting your body now.
Oh, I don't want her in my body, please. Call an exorcist.
What would she see? Would it be the electricity bill that would shock her the most?
No. Can I be honest? I'm actually very lucky. I'm actually very lucky about my electricity bill. So, do you know Luigi Mangione?
Yeah, terrible man, a murderer.
Terrible man, a murderer, but he gives me a wet ass pussy, and I can admit that. But Tim, listen, I can say
that's so sick, madam, for someone who's got such a humanitarian spirit. For you to praise him at all.
Tim, let me finish. I'm not praising him. I am not in any way in support of vigilante justice. I think it's awful. I think it's wrong. I think it's terrible. I just think he is physically appealing.
But what's this got to do with Katy Perry inhabiting your body for 48 hours?
Oh, you brought up the electric bill. I don't have to struggle with my electric bill because I have United Healthcare, and honestly, United Healthcare is pretty fucking great because I actually get $200 plus I could put towards food in my electric bill. They give me a wet ass pussy as well as Luigi Mangione, even if he is a murderer.
Sean, same question for you. Would she cope with your sort of more ordinary life? Do you think?
No, I don't really think I have an ordinary life though. I have a lot of craziness in the job I do and all that stuff. So I think she would probably be overwhelmed because she would actually
might have to think for a living,
people.
Do you think?
And she has to focus on other people but herself. So she would have to remove her head from her own ass for a moment and stop wearing it as a hat and actually focus on everything.
it'd be a bit of, oh, I have to listen to your problems. What?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I got to focus on me.
What about me?
Where's a mirror? Where's
What
a
about
mirror?
me?
And where are people? I need people to see this. I need a camera. Where is a camera? I need to witness. Someone needs to witness this.
So, final question before we run out of time. Sean and Madam Roastbeef, this has been a rather civilized conversation, hasn't it, compared to the last one?
A very beautiful one. Yes.
Yes.
Politics is a touchy conversation, I think, to have. I would say, especially in the climate of this world. Oh my God, it's a very difficult one. But at the same time, I think it is healthy, and I think it is. I like I said, I have had lots of encounters with MAGA, lots of encounters with Trump pumpers, and I may not understand it. I may not be. I'm very confused by it. But at the same time, I can at least respect the fact that we live in a world where everyone's opinion matters, even if it's different.
Now, Madam, that's a beautiful thing. Now, I want you to take Sean's hand, take my hand. See that rainbow over there? Let's all skip towards the rainbow.
I was gonna say, that's kind of like not to get off topic too much, but that's why we're not friends on social media anymore. Because
it makes me so sad.
I couldn't read anymore being called a Nazi because I support Trump.
Yeah,
so I think that's where it went sideways, and I just couldn't deal with that anymore.
It wasn't me calling him a Nazi. It was people in my comments that were.
No, it was you too. You were also saying it. You were posting it. You were posting stuff that saying stuff like we're living in Nazi Germany today, and this is what Nazi Germany was, all these people that support Trump as Nazis.
The rainbow's fading.
I 100% think that this is the rise of fascism.
The rainbow is fading, my friends.
Oh yeah, no,
I don't think it's
listen to the music.
I think it's disintegrating.
Look, the sunshine's coming.
It started on fire. Definitely, it already burned. It burned. Yeah.